Okay, so let's get started, and we're going to face two issues in designing such app. First of all, it's being hidden here at the top. So let me tell you a couple of issues. Let me first do a replication of this, so Command Shift D a couple of times so that we can at least see what is coming up here. Now, we won't be writing any designs for this container. Actually, we don't need to, and we're going to just directly work on this outer. So the first problem is the colors, where we can get the best colors possibly we can have. So we're going to have a background color, and all these things needs to go into this, except numbers needs to go in these single quotes. So I have created a resource for you, and you can feel free to just use it. It is inspired by the Flat UI Color Picker website. Amazing resource. It's inspired a little bit from that, but it has much more options than what the website offers. And created as a fun project, so you can have colors of Facebook or LinkedIn. For example, I would like to have a LinkedIn color. I love this color. So just click on it and it will copy that. No big deal. If you want this color, just click on it. It's copied. It gives you a small message at the top as well, by the way. So I'm going to grab this LinkedIn color. It's copied. Okay. And I'm going to paste that here. Make sure there's no space here. So what you will notice that there is a background color, but it's only up to whatever my text area is covering up. So doesn't really look good. So the first issue was color, which we resolved, but the second is to finding out the height and width. We are going to work on that as well. You might be wondering that, hey, I can just put a flex of 1 and it's going to just cover up everything, but it doesn't work like that. It's not going to be serving you well with that. So first of all, let's have this guy is align item as center, so that at least we can have something at center. Okay. And this looks good. And what I want to have is, let's just have a justify content as well at center. And you will notice something just here. So there we go. I can hit a Command R. There we go. So nothing just works. So I'm going to just do is just get rid of that. Okay. We'll just keep it here. Now the important issue is how we can grab this guy. And also if you go into the app.js, there's nothing that you can work it from here as well. So again, the question remains how we can have that. Now let me introduce you without waiting anymore. The next important element that we'll be working is going to be dimensions. So just make sure you have a dimensions and make sure there's an S at the end. This dimension is actually capable of finding out the screen width and screen height and makes us so easy as for our life. So what I can say here is width, and the width of this outer is going to be based on the dimensions. So easily what you can do is write dimensions.get, and here you can ask for window. Window is going to be your screen in this case, so make sure it's inside the single quote there, and you can just ask for its width, and it's going to tell you the width just like that. And now notice it is asking for the width, and it is just automatically covering all the thing here. Now similarly, you can just grab for height as well, and you can simply say, hey height, can you be just like dimensions, ask for the windows first of all, window, oops, where that goes, window, and I can just grab a height from it. And that's it, as simple as it sounds. So it's automatically just here. Now again, the problem is the text is not looking that awesome that I want it to look. So we can just define some of the text items here, and that is going to be super easy. So obviously the first choice of color would be white, because on these kinds of color, explicitly white looks really awesome. So hashtag FFF, and there we go. We have got a white color for that. Okay. Now I also want the font size to be a little bit bigger. So we can have a font size of, I don't know, maybe 25. It should look good. And also I would like to get rid of these multiple ones. I don't want them. It doesn't really look good. So there we go. So this is how it looks. I think pretty solid. And I think 25 is pretty big. So I'm going to go with 23. And yep, that is good. But you know what? The black color is obviously not looking good. And I have just made a font size here. My bad. I should be calling it as color. What I was thinking there. Okay. Looks good. Looks pretty good. And I can just add some font weight to it. So font weight can be bold, should look good. Yeah, font weight looks good. And I think we don't need anything else. It looks pretty good. Okay. So the first situation is solved, that we have got a screen. Now we need is 3 screens so that we can have these swipey things. And we are having a scroll view here. So we're going to just copy and paste this 3 times. So there we go. And there we go. And let's just call this as something else. Welcome to LCO app. Best quality videos. I hope you will agree that with me on that. And let's something like available on iOS and Android. Maybe you can post a little bit better than that. But the problem is we don't have the side scrolling right now. We have just top and bottom, and we don't want that tutorial to be available just like that. We want that to be horizontal scrolling. So we can fix that easily in the scroll view, and you might be surprised at how easy it is to do in the React Native. All you have to do is ask for horizontal, and that is going to be equal to true. And yes, exactly, that simple. And notice now we have a view just like that. But the problem is this is a single view. You don't want this to be happening like half here and half here. Not a best experience, honestly, if you'll ask me. So this also can be simplified and can be resolved easily. And again, you will be surprised to know that how can I do that? I can just say that I want paging enable as true. Make sure it's enabled, not enable. And you can simply just pass on a property of true. And now what is going to happen, this will act as a single screenish thing. Pretty good. And there are a couple of more options. I highly recommend to check out the documentation of horizontal. This is scroll view, so that you can find more about these properties. And just a couple of good code practice. Whenever there are such properties being defined, you don't define these things like that. It's not a big deal, but it's actually good to just separate them onto a separate line. It actually looks pretty good. And then this guy onto. So that when you're revisiting your code, you can find that yes, these are the properties that you can define. You don't need to put a comma between them, but this is how the ways things are done. But again, one more thing that we are seeing here is all of them are in blue. We want them to be in different color, although this is looking very good, but this is not how usually the things are done. So let me tell you 2 ways of approaching this. The first one is you can just copy this entire thing and can paste them here and just call this as outer 1, maybe just like that. And then inside this, you might want to call this as outer 1. Go back onto this website, pick up a different color, maybe a color for Google Plus will look good. And here you can just replace that. So this is just one way. I'm not a big fan of doing things in this way, but yes, this is how you can do it one way. Or what you can do is you can just get rid of all of this. Okay. And now the problem appears. If you'll just get rid of all of this, then this becomes like this. We don't want that to be happening. So what you can do is pass on these things outer 2 as a list. Okay. What I'm asking you to do is put a square bracket here, and then a comma separated list can be passed on. So first of all, I would like to pass on styles.outer and then separated by comma as outer 1. As soon as I save this, this is actually a better practice because this is actually less code. But now here, instead of outer 1, I would like to name it something more meaningful like red. And obviously this is going to be called as red. Okay. So looks better, I would say. Very good. Welcome to LCO app. Best quality videos and available on iOS and Android. But you know what? Just for the sake of practice, we're going to create one more with a different color. And I think what is going to look good on this? I think this green is going to look awesome. So what we can do is we can just say, you know what? I'm going to call this as green and have that. We can call this background color, and there we go. So this is our greenish thing, and there we go, housekeeping purposes. And we can do the same thing here as well for our style.outer. We can pass on a list of parameters, or in this case the styles, and I would like to have styles.outer here separated by comma. This is going to be style.green. So this is actually a better way. Instead of just copy and pasting this line again, this is less code, reduced code. And I can have this guy, this guy. That looks so good. I didn't expect it green to be looking so awesome. And these colors are already tested out, so they are pretty solid. So there we go. So this was your very first project, not the biggest one, but this component is now completely reusable. Just bring that in your app, just this file, a horizontal view, and just write some of the logics that when the next time the app is open or component is being loaded, you can just serve this and that's it. And you can just customize it by messages. Now, one more thing that we are going to learn later on is we can even make these messages as a little bit more dumb, so that when you're calling this from the app.js, you can pass on something like message equals something like the list of messages that you might want to pass on, something like that, like msg1 comma msg2 and comma msg3, and each one will be picked up from this file and can be displayed here. Right now, we don't want to go into that much of complexity. It's a very initial time, but yes, this can also be done. Your components can be made a little bit more dumb and can just say whatever you like to call them at the time calling from a parent. Okay, I know I'm talking too much about these things that can be done, but I love React and I can just keep on talking about that for hours or days. Okay, let's just wind this project here. I hope you enjoyed this. But before we go ahead and do that, in the next video, I'll be running this project on an Android emulator just for the sake of completion. So bear with me. If you want to skip that, feel free to do that, but I have to do it, run every project on Android and iOS. So I'll catch you up in the next video.